This video is the chance for us to show the most basic aspects of operations management in Automic Automation. We'll start perspectives. In process assembly, we design and execute objects. In process monitoring, we monitor and manage tasks. We'll show the difference between compound objects that become parent tasks when activated, and standalone objects which become children. We'll also show the relationship between the two. We'll select a workflow task and show the supervision tools, namely monitor, executions, and the report for one of the child tasks. We'll start exploring statuses and what they mean. Finally, we'll show the actions associated with two different tasks. Let's start by opening the process assembly and process monitoring perspectives. We see a number of items of note. First, we notice tasks and the fields defining them: name, object type, run ID, status, and start time. At the top, we see the aggregate tool. This shows how many activated tasks we have with each status. Below that, we see the action bar with the most common actions. In order to apply an action, we select one of the tasks. On the right, we see a filter panel, which we can remove from the view. At the bottom, by default, filters exclude deactivated tasks, although you can include them if you need to. We close the filter panel for now. In the task list, we notice two types currently activated. One is a schedule object and the other is the C-period type task. They're automation tools. Schedule objects have names, C-period type objects do not. Instead, they use the name of the object itself. One of these objects is a workflow identified with the job P short name. We've expanded the C-period task. The first child is the workflow. It has a green active status, which means it's currently executing. The workflow has a number of child tasks, which are all jobs. Some are active, some are waiting, and some have ended. The waiting for predecessor status is associated with child tasks in a workflow that are waiting for an upstream job to complete. Ended OK means the task completed successfully. The sleeping status is commonly associated with automation tasks like schedules and periods. Finally, active shows ongoing executions and is associated with most task types. Let's restore the filter panel and add a filter on the task name. Tasks whose name match the filter string are displayed. Tasks have run IDs. In the case of children, we see the ID for the child as well as the parents. The status of the parents is usually determined by the status of the individual children. We can collapse the panel on the left for real estate. Start and end time of tasks are important characteristics. These are tracked for evaluating and forecasting runtimes and reporting. The view icon switches between the hierarchy view and the individual view. We have selected the workflow task as indicated by the yellow line. Let's display the workflow monitor. The monitor provides real-time supervision in graphical mode. This gives us a much better view of the current state of the workflow. Actions can be applied to each child, and the overall status of the workflow is displayed at the top. We can apply different actions to the children based on their object type and current status. The task we selected is a job in the ended OK status. These are the available actions for this type of task. We can deactivate, roll back, modify the status manually, and take over the task. Other actions would be available for another task type or status. These are the actions associated with an active workflow. Every task has a list of executions. This is the historical record of the task. Even when tasks are deactivated, the execution history remains. Every execution generates a report, which is the standard out and standard error. We select one of the child tasks and apply the cancel action. This aborts the task and changes the status to append. The status has changed. You also notice the red icon in Messages. When errors and warnings appear in Messages, you should always check them. Messages are generated whenever something happens in the system. This includes tasks ending, agents coming online, and much more. When the Messages window issues a notification, you should definitely check it. Note that objects cannot be executed in the process monitoring perspective. This is consistent with IT operations best practices. We head over to the process assembly perspective and execute a workflow. In addition to messages, operators should also check notifications. These are built into the system to match certain events like an escalation. This is just an activation report for the workflow task. We can close it.